Hi, it's Jane here. I'm just waiting for Mike to get out of shot. I bet he's going to hang around for a bit. He is. He's gone completely the opposite way to the way he said he was going to go. Anyway, it is May the 29th. It has been an incredibly warm day, which is why I know I'm very, very red. I've actually been working quite hard on the allotment, but I thought, with it being so late in the month, it's about time I gave you a May tour, because if I just carry on, everything is so busy at the minute. Before I know it, it's going to be June and we'll have missed May altogether. So come with me and we'll have a little look around. I don't know where he is now. It's making me nervous. Okay, we'll have a little look around for our May tour. Okay, before I start, I told you I was red. I'm covered in soil as well, but I thought I'd just better give you a little bit of context behind the May tour, because if you saw the April tour, you'll remember that we were all complaining that we hadn't had rain and it was the driest April since frogs were invented, that sort of thing. And it was incredibly dry, and we were really hoping for rain. We've now had, in the UK, we've had one of the wettest Mays for a long time. So what that means is we've had warm weather, we've had rain, and what do we get with warm weather and rain? Yes, it's another thing that begins with W. Weeds. We have got weeds. It's like they've just been waiting. Another W. It's like they've just been waiting. So they have shot up everywhere. So to be honest, I could, if I'd wanted to, I could have weeded the whole place. Like when you tidy up, you know, if someone posh is coming around, I could have weeded the whole place and made it look really nice. But by that time, we'd have been halfway through June. Or I could just carry on and show you as it is. And yeah, it's the second one we're going to do. So anything I see and anything I show you, I apologise in advance. And I know a lot of you will say, oh, you need to be picking those with the flowers on before they go to seed and spread everywhere. I know that. I will, but you are going to have to take my word for it. Okay, little bit of change in greenhouse number 1. In that, can you see from there? Yeah. We're starting to clear the decks a little bit now, because we're managing to, if not plant things outside, we're starting to put things outside a bit more. So the things that are in here now are the things that are going to be staying in the greenhouse. So for example, tomatoes, peppers, chilies, whatever these gubbins are down here, cucumbers, they're going to continue in, oh, look at my hands, oh my goodness. They're going to continue being grown under glass, so they'll stay in here. What I have got though, over there in that tray, is all the tomatoes I've got left over. So I've started the process of divvying them out to friends. So yeah, if you see me coming with a tray full of tomatoes and you don't want any, I'll understand if you run the other way. And over here in greenhouse number 2, I've got some peppers in. Let's see, how many have I got there? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I can only count up to 4. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actually. I've got one down in this corner as well. And I have planted them, I've staggered them a bit, but I have planted them quite close to each other, because I remember someone saying last year, it might have been Vivi, that peppers like to hold hands. So they like to be planted really close together, and I've never really had much luck with them. So I'm really quite excited about them. This side, when it's tidied up, that's going to be my cucumbers. And then at the back at the moment, I don't know if you can see from here, oh, let's just adjust that a bit. We have got the volunteer kale that has just been the kale that has kept on giving. We've used so much of that. Couldn't come again. I'm going to leave that in. We've also got volunteer parsley, I've got coriander, I've got quite a lot of stuff growing in the back there. So whereas I was going to put tomatoes in this greenhouse, I'm going to keep them all in the one behind me. And then at the back there, I'm going to put my loofah. Or is it loofahs? What's the plural of loofah? I'm going to have the whole of the back of the greenhouse though dedicated to that. What's in the ground can stay, and at the front I'll have my peppers and cucumbers. But then, and this is what I love looking at this time of year, look at the grapevine. I'm sorry the camera's a bit jerky here. Oh, that is so lovely. It's had such a big haircut this year, but it's looking really lush and green. And on the outdoor table today we have sweet corn, we have sunflowers. Oh my goodness, they're getting quite big. They're only in tiny pots, bless them. We've got all the dahlias getting ready to go out. We've got some forward hook giant chard at the back. We've got some walking stick kale somewhere in there. Yeah, so all of that now is staying on here until it gets transferred. I'm not going to be taking it in and out of the greenhouse now because I don't need to. The nights are getting a lot warmer. It should be fine. And yes, I'm avoiding showing you the fruit cage. I'll show you why. This was part of the reason I did the little weed disclaimer at the beginning of the video. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but in the April tour, at least you could see the fruit bushes. But now it's difficult to see through the weeds. And I mean, you know, there's one thing about being abundant, but there's another thing about just being absolutely smothered. So fortunately, most of the weeds you can see around here are just annual weeds, and it won't take long to be able to just pull them up. Saying that, I can see some couch grass, but that comes up quite easily. So it shouldn't take too long to clear, but if you can see beyond the weeds, you can see that my autumn flowering raspberries are actually doing quite well. The red currant and the black currant, never remember which way they are, at the top are doing quite well, you see. And then the gooseberries down here. In fact, let me unclip you and I'll show you a bit closer. Look. Looky here. Look at these little bit. Okay, they're only tiny, I know at the moment, but they're growing. And when you think, again, these had such a good prune, these gooseberry bushes. They've got the effect of want actually, which if you look at this, it's really open in the middle. I'm really quite pleased with that. But yeah, you would think they might have sucked for a season or something, but they've come back really well. If I show you this one as well, look. I've got a red one somewhere, I don't know where that's gone. But yeah, dead pleased. So in spite of this, these are all doing okay. The blueberries though, I don't know. I say it every tour. Am I going to carry on with them? I don't know. They do look like they're picking up a bit. They've had that much ericaceous compost, pine needles, ericaceous feed, maybe too much. But I mean, they're certainly not blossoming, and they're certainly not going to get a big harvest. So yeah, I'm giving them one more season. And if they don't do well, they're out. I say that every time, don't I? And then I forget. But look, if we look here, do you remember the tayberry that I moved? I'll put a link to it. The tayberry and the blackberry that I put round the arch. Look how well that's coming on. And even the blackberry, which I've got to admit, I was thinking might have become a blackberry of shame because for the last couple of tours, it's just looked like this. But let's have a look. Here we go. Look, they're tough little fellas. Getting loads of green on there now. Oh, that looks dead. But look at that one. Don't look at the dead ones, look at the live one. That shows there is still life in the old dog yet. So, sorry Rocky, not talking about you. Yeah, so hope. And what us gardeners need sometimes is quite a lot of it. Outdoor tomatoes are ready to go out here. To be honest, I was going to give them a miss because I'm growing that many in the polytunnel and in the greenhouse, but I've got some Crimson Crush here. I've got some, oh, what else is there? Some Shirley and a couple of Moneymaker. Moneymaker and Shirley I've never actually grown before, but I know they're okay for outside, and I know other people have fantastic results with them. So I'm just going to pop them in. It's a spare bed, you know, and it'll be interesting to see what the difference is with the ones that are grown indoors and outdoors. So yeah, in this bed actually it doesn't look too weedy. So yeah, they'll be going in the next day or two. Can you hear the bees? Oh, they've just stopped. The asparagus is continuing to bring much joy. We are loving it so much. And we had it roasted the other night, you know, which I didn't even know you could do with asparagus, but my daughter did roasted asparagus. Absolutely beautiful. But yeah, that has been such a treat this year. So if you're putting off getting your crowns in, I'd advise you don't put it off for much longer. The garlic is also looking pretty good. We've got a mixture of your standard soft neck and hard neck garlic here. So we've got Casablanca and Music. We've also got some elephant garlic. Can you see the tall stuff at the back there, which I have grown before, and that is grown from the cloves from last year. Excuse me. However, this year our plot neighbour passed on some Canadian garlic, and look at the size of this. I mean, in a way, it is getting on more for the elephant garlic, but apparently it tastes quite different. It's got a very distinctive flavour, so look how strong that is. It's more like a leek, doesn't it? Anyway, I am really looking forward to that, and obviously, you know, if it does well it seems to be doing well, then I will be saving the cloves and replanting next year and passing them on. But yeah, really exciting to be growing something new. And of course, these are all the marigold seedlings from last year. It makes you wonder why we bother reseeding them, doesn't it? But they're all coming back, and they're very welcome. Not so much that potato though. And strawberry season is almost upon us, so very excited about that. We've got our 2 lovely strawberry beds this year. I'm not going to swing you too far, you'll get seasick, but there we go. They go right the way along there. We've got lavender at the ends there, so we've got our pollinators sorted. But what I'm going to be doing in probably the next day or two, these are starting to get covered in flowers now, so I'm going to be taking the canes and the netting off the onions. Remember I said I was putting them as an extra barricade against the onion fly? Well, that's finished its breeding season. I think end of April. We're fairly safe then until about September, October. So, sorry, I've just been distracted. I don't know if you can see. Let's see. Oh, just beyond the table there were a pair of blackbirds. I don't know if one was feeding the other one, but anyway, they distracted me. So yeah, so it's safe now to remove the net from the onions and then protect our strawberries with it. So yeah, that's a job that I'm going to have to get done sooner rather than later, otherwise there'll be no strawberries left. And oh, look at that glorious sight. If you grow beans, you know exactly what I mean. Once those bean canes are up, you start to feel like the season's really getting going. We haven't planted the beans there yet. It's been too blooming cold, but crikey, they are desperate to go in. So I will do a different video on this, but I think I said previously, this one is where we've dug a trench, filled it with scraps, this, that and the other. This one we are doing no dig. So we're going to put the same of each variety on each side and just see if there's any difference at all. I was going to put beans in the middle and peas. I don't know, I might change my mind and do something else. But yes, again, that is ready to go. So hopefully over the next couple of days, I'll show you the stage the beans are at the minute. They will be released from their pots and they can go wild and start scrambling up the poles. But it is such a great time of year. Top plot, still waiting. This is where we are going to have our sweet corn, sunflowers, and other things yet to be decided. So again, that's pretty much ready to go. Once we remove that black plastic, that'll be ready to plant into there. And this, again, it's all been hoed. It'll get hoed again. And we'll put something there. I might put peas along there. I don't know. We've got that much stuff to go in. I'm sure, you know, the gap won't stay empty for very long. There's the little blackbirds again. Do you see them? Oh, I think they might be out courting. I think it's a Saturday night courtship. Ah. And another table full of hoojamajigs and wajimy-pogs of things to go out. So these have all been sitting in the polytunnel or sitting in the greenhouse and are now sort of on that table until they go in the soil. So we've got some more sweet corn, we've got loads of beans, we've got more spinach, we've got all sorts of brassicas in there. So yeah, it's lovely now because that means that the polytunnel is starting to look like it should do. I'm going to take you in there and show you. And right, in we go. We finally managed to get all the tomatoes done. Remember I put them up on, or rather I'm supporting them this year on strings attached to rods. I'll put a link up above. But if we just have a little look above them, oh, what treats have we got in these little baskets? It just goes to show, you know, because these were just the ones that we've planted outside. I'm going to pull that off. I know I've got dirty. Oh, in fact, there might be a riper one in there. Let's see. No, I'm going back to this one. Okay, it should come off really easily. Look at that. And leave that central bit behind. And I know, like I say, I've got filthy hands, but that has not been sprayed with anything. It hasn't been outside where it's picked up any pollution. That is as pure a strawberry as you're going to get, apart from all the muck on my hands. But I am going to enjoy that anyway. Gone. Okay. The rest of in here, like I say, is tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. And if I show you how desperate the beans are to go out, look at this poor thing. He's actually found something to climb up. So I don't think there'll be any problem unravelling him and getting him to go up the bean poles. So that bit at the end there is going to be where the watermelon's going to go, but probably not for another couple of weeks. It's still only tiny. It's got true leaves now, or they've got true leaves, but they're still very small. So yeah, that soil will need, or that area is going to need preparing for planting them. And then to the side it's going to have a similar structure, maybe an arch, might be able to knock something together. And we're going to have the cantaloupe melons, the sugar babies there. They are still at the seedling leaf stage, so let's just hope this warm weather and more light will bring them on a little bit. But yeah, quite happy here. Just got to put my marigolds along the sides and possibly some basil as well interspersed with the tomatoes. But I've got to say, I'm not keen on these French marigolds, but I didn't have any green fly or white fly problems in here last year. So whether it was the marigolds, whether it wasn't, I'm putting it down to them. I'm using them again. Okay, so there it is, just in the nick of time. The May tour, a tale of weeds, water, and whatever the other W was I was going on about at the very beginning. I know there were three. Yeah, so things are really starting. We've had the warmth, we've had the warm weather, and obviously everything's just been waiting to go. And some things, like the bean, for example, that's in the Polytunnel, that's just taken it upon itself to get on with things and wind up the nearest spade, they've just decided to go for it anyway. So I'm hoping putting them in at this stage doesn't mean that they're going to be knocked back at all. I know lots of people planted their beans about a month ago, and you know, it'll be interesting to see when I put mine out, because I'm going to put those beans out, but I'm going to direct sow some as well. It'll be interesting to see in a couple of months' time if there's any difference between the beans I put out, which it'll be beginning of June, and the beans that were put out sort of, yeah, beginning of April over there, you know. So we'll see. Things do tend to catch up. But I think that's it for now. I am very pleased. I do feel we have a week coming up, a half-term break in the UK, so schools are off, etc. So Mike's not going to be working, I'm going to be working, and we are actually due some nice weather. So I think this week coming up is just going to be a mass planting out session, which is great. You know, I'm really looking forward to that. And then I think we're probably, I am completely tempting fate here, so I'm crossing everything. I think we're actually going to be more organised than we ever have been. Yeah? What do you think? Watch this space. Because, you know, the first year we were here, there was a lot to do with making the beds, etc. You know, the next year it was putting in perennial things, so like your asparagus, setting up things like this, setting up the companion. You know, and this year we can start to take advantage of the fact that we've done that, only needed doing once, and it's okay. Apple trees are established nicely. Yeah, it's looking good. So yeah, dead pleased, dead exciting. Someone mentioned on a previous, I don't know if it was on a video or in the Facebook group, links below, about we've had a funny old year this year. And I commented, I said, actually, it seems like we've been saying that for the last few years. Oh, hasn't it been a funny old year? Hasn't it been a funny old year? It's been quite strange. And I think global warming, climate change, all this sort of thing, you know, we are on, I'm saying on the edge of it, but we are starting to notice differences in our gardens, what we can grow, etc. So it could just be that having a funny old year is going to be the norm from now on, and it's quite good in a way because that keeps us on our toes. That makes us take notice of the conditions around us that maybe if you weren't gardening you wouldn't necessarily notice, and adapt to them. Topic for discussion, I think, but not for today, because I'm going to go because I can feel a witter coming on. So like I say, Facebook links below, Instagram link, email, all contact details are below. I hope if you're taking part in the Transatlantic Melon Challenge, it's all gone quiet on the melon front recently, but I will be back in, I think, a couple of weeks to sort out the polytunnel and get the melons in. But yeah, let us know how you're getting on as well. But I'm going to go now. I hope wherever you are going to have the most lovely beginning of June, because let's face it, I think we all need a bit of space, don't we, you know? So whether it's weather-wise or whatever, just, you know, make sure you're doing something that you love. And you see, I'm starting to witter, aren't I? Rocky's gone to sleep. See you very soon. Bye.